Ever feel like you're managing a project and, well, it feels more like herding cats through a hurricane of emails and misunderstood instructions?
Oh, definitely.
Or maybe you've stared blankly at a construction bid, wondering if there's some secret decoder ring required. You're definitely not alone.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I told you there's a set of surprisingly effective tools, kind of hiding in plain sight, that can bring a sense of calm and order to all that chaos?
Standardized forms, right?
Exactly. We're talking about standardized project management forms.
Yeah, exactly. And in this deep dive, we're tackling a fantastic collection provided by one of you, sample forms for the management of the project from RAEC CHOP Chapter 6.8.
RAEC CHOP, okay.
No, for those maybe less familiar, RAI is the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada, and CHOP, well, it likely refers to a specific chapter or committee focused on project management best practices. So this is coming from a pretty reputable source in the field.
Good to know.
And it might sound like, dry paperwork, but honestly, trust us, this is really a toolkit for clarity, efficiency, and ultimately for sidestepping a ton of potential headaches on pretty much any project.
Okay, this sounds really useful. And if you're finding this exploration of project management tools intriguing and you want to delve deeper into this world with us, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future deep dives.
Yeah, definitely do that.
So our mission today is to really unearth the value within these sample forms. We're not just looking at templates. We want to understand how these documents actually contribute to smoother project management, from start to finish.
With the practical application.
Exactly. We'll be exploring forms for, well, everything from everyday team communication, navigating that crucial bidding process, administering contracts effectively, handling necessary certifications, and tackling a variety of other essential project management needs.
Okay, let's dive in. Where do we start?
Let's unpack this, starting with, I guess, the bedrock of any project, how we actually communicate.
Sounds good. The guide rightly begins with those foundational forms, the ones designed to ensure everyone involved is, well, on the same page. First up is the memorandum.
Ah, the memo. Seems a bit old school.
Maybe, but what's fascinating about the memo is its strategic role. It serves as a documented record for transferring, confirming, recording, filing information, both internally within a team and externally with clients or consultants. It's for when, like, a full formal letter isn't necessary, but a casual email just lacks that needed formality or record-keeping aspect.
Okay, so it's that middle ground.
Exactly. Think of it as that crucial step up from a fleeting email. By consistently using memos for important internal decisions, you create a traceable record, which fosters accountability within the team.
Makes sense? And the key contents. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, typically. Who it's to and from, the date, and importantly, a clear subject line and project ID. Then the main message, of course, and a list of any attachments or, relevant hyperlinks.
Right. Okay, then we get to email, which is probably what most of us use constantly.
For better or worse, yeah.
The guide makes a really insightful distinction, though, highlighting when email really shines, for brief, quick questions, when you need to reach multiple people fast, and when a formal signature isn't really needed for the context. But, and this is critical, I think, it also points out where email can fall short, especially for conveying really lengthy, detailed information where clarity and a formal record are paramount.
Absolutely. In those situations, the advice is spot on. Draft a well-structured memo and just attach it to a concise email explaining the action needed.
Right, using the right tool for the right job, not just defaulting to email for everything.
Precisely. And this connects to a broader project management principle. Choosing the most effective communication method. The guide wisely cautions against using email for, say, sensitive situations like conflict resolution or maybe emotionally charged discussion.
Oh yeah, definitely not the place for that.
No. The nuances of a direct conversation are almost always more productive there. It also acknowledges the increasing role of integrated electronic communication platforms, things like Slack or project management software that streamline both internal and project-specific comms.
Okay. Next up is the minutes of meeting. This seems basic, but absolutely essential for keeping projects on track, right?
Oh, totally essential. These aren't just a formality, they're the documented history of decisions, agreements, assigned responsibilities. And that includes stuff agreed on during phone calls, too, not just formal meetings.
Good point about the phone calls.
Yeah, and well-documented minutes can be invaluable in preventing that selective amnesia about who agreed to what and by when.
We've all seen that happen. So what makes minutes good minutes, according to this guide?
Well, What's particularly valuable in well-structured minutes is the level of detail recommended. So beyond just project details, dates, who attended, the minute should clearly state the specific purpose of the meeting and meticulously record every decision made, list the exact actions required, the due dates for those actions, and the individual or firm responsible for seeing each action through.
Responsibility is key.
Absolutely. And if there's a sequence of steps involved, like maybe a submittal review process, that workflow should also be clearly outlined.
Hmm?
And a simple but incredibly effective practice, tabling completed actions from previous meetings. It just makes progress visible to everyone, even if they missed interim updates.
Yeah, I like that. Creates a clear line of sight on accountability.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have the transmittal. Now, this might evoke images of, I don't know, dusty filing cabinets,
Maybe a little.
but it remains incredibly relevant, doesn't it? Especially when you need that formal record of exchanging documents, physical or electronic.
Totally. Think of the transmittal as basically a formal receipt for routing all sorts of project documents, drawings, specs, samples, you name it, whether they're sent electronically or as hard copies.
Okay, receipt.
Yeah. Its purpose is to formally document exactly what was sent, the precise date, what specific action is required upon receipt, is it for review, approval, just info, and the method of delivery.
Got it. And the key elements to include.
Okay, so the date, full details of the recipient, project info, the transmittal method, courier, email attachment, etc., a clear statement of the action required, and any deadlines.
Right.
A detailed, itemized list of all the documents being sent, any relevant remarks or special instructions, and who else is being copied. And crucially, clearly identifying the assigned for any required action prevents confusion and, duplicated effort.
Makes total sense. It's about creating that clear chain of custody and responsibility. And finally, in this general comm section, we have the seemingly simple but absolutely crucial project team directory.
That's right. On any project, you're dealing with a whole web of different stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
So having a centralized, easily accessible contact list is just invaluable for smooth communication. This directory should really go beyond just names and titles.
Like what else?
It should include the firm or organization, ideally with their website listed for easy reference, the individual's specific role on this project, their physical address, business phone fax, maybe even an emergency contact number,
Okay.
their mobile number, email, and any relevant project-specific website or intranet address. It's all about making sure the right people can connect quickly and efficiently. No hunting around for contact details.
Yeah, saves so much time. Okay, let's transition now and dive into the, well, often intricate world of the bidding phase. The guide provides some really practical forms here that seem like they could really help streamline things.
It does, and it logically starts with the bid documents distribution list. When a project goes out for tender, keeping meticulous track of who has the bidding documents is just essential for a fair and transparent process.
Absolutely.
This list serves several key purposes. Identifies all the contractors and others who got the bid docs, records any deposits required, acts as a main distribution list for any addenda or clarifications during bidding.
Right, for the addenda.
Yeah, and provides a mechanism to ensure all physical documents are returned after the bid closing.
So what specific information needs to be captured on this crucial list?
Okay, it needs to clearly state the project name and number, the all-important bid submission deadline, date, and time.
Very important, the time.
Crucial. Complete contact info for all interested contractors, company name, contact person, address, email, phone, fax. It should also track the number of document sets each party got, when they were issued, when they were returned, details about the deposit, if any amount, payment method, and critically comprehensive details on every single addendum issued, number and date distributed. This level of detail is just key for transparency and ensuring all bidders have the same up-to-date info.
Yeah, maintaining that level playing field. Okay, then we have the addendum itself. We hear this term a lot in construction, but what's its core function as outlined here?
The fundamental point about an addendum is that it becomes a formal, legally binding part of the contract documents. It's the official mechanism for providing any additional or corrected info, or announcing changes or clarifications to the original bidding instructions.
Legally binding, that's key.
It is. And because it has this legal weight, it must be meticulously worded and distributed fairly and equally to all prospective bidders and relevant parties simultaneously. And typically with enough lead time before bid closing, the guide suggests usually no later than 4 days prior.
Right.
Because poorly worded or improperly distributed addenda, that can lead to significant legal issues down the line.
I can imagine. So what specific content should a well-structured addendum include?
It should start by clearly identifying the project, name, number, and the addendum itself, number, date.
Hmm.
Then, itemize each change or piece of info.
Itemized, okay.
Yeah, for each item, it must clearly reference the specific section of the original bid docs. It affects drawing sheet, spec section, instructions, whatever.
Pinpoint where the change is.
Exactly. Then provide a detailed, unambiguous description of the new info or the change, including where it applies in the building or documents. Importantly, include contact info for someone designated architect, engineer who can answer clarification questions about the addendum.
But only clarification, right? Not new info.
Correct. The guide stresses that it's for clarification only, not for introducing anything new or revised beyond what's actually in the addendum itself, prevents scope creep during bidding.
Yeah, that's a really important distinction. Okay, next, the letter of acceptance. This sounds like the big moment when a project officially moves forward with a contractor.
It absolutely is. The letter of acceptance is the formal written notification to the successful bidder that their bid's accepted and they've got the job.
Uh-huh.
And what's particularly noteworthy is that this letter often serves to authorize the contractor to begin preliminary work even before the full formal contract documents are completely finalized and signed.
Oh, interesting. So it lets things get started faster.
Exactly. Allows projects to get underway more quickly.
So what key information would you typically find in that letter of acceptance?
Always the date, the contractor's full legal name and address, clear project identification. It'll reference the specific date and total amount of their winning bid being accepted. It'll give explicit instructions on when the contractor should commence work on site, formally confirm acceptance of any alternative bids that were part of their winning bid, reiterate the final agreed contract price, and specify the official contract start date.
Pretty comprehensive. Now, what about the contractors who put in all that effort but weren't successful? The guide mentions a letter to unsuccessful bidders. Is that common practice?
Yes, and the guide rightly emphasizes that promptly informing unsuccessful bidders isn't just professional courtesy, it also has real practical benefits.
Yeah.
It allows these companies to release any bonding commitments or other resources they tied up for this project, lets them move on and confidently pursue other opportunities without being left hanging.
That's fair. So what are the essential elements in that kind of letter?
Okay, it should include the date, clearly state the name of the successful contractor, and mention the total contract amount. It might even give a brief explanation if the winning bid wasn't the lowest. Maybe alternatives were accepted that offered better value, for instance.
Okay.
The letter should also clearly outline how the unsuccessful bidders can get their original bid documents back and retrieve any deposits they paid. It should specify how their bid bonds or other security will be returned.
Right, the practicalities.
Exactly. And naturally, just a polite thank you to each company for their time and effort in bidding. It maintains good relationships.
Definitely good practice. Okay, let's move into the crucial phase of contract administration. This is where the plans really start coming to life on site.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Indeed. The guide highlights the field review report as a key example of documentation needed here, and it looks like it's a very detailed and important tool.
It is indeed. The field review report serves as a comprehensive, systematic record of observations made and any actions required or taken during both active construction and even the post-construction phases.
Post-construction, too. Interesting.
Yeah, and as the guide points out, these written reports are often supplemented with invaluable audio recordings, photos, or video documentation. Gives a much fuller picture of site conditions and progress.
Better evidence, I suppose?
Exactly. Meticulous reporting here can significantly mitigate potential future liability by clearly showing due diligence throughout construction.
So what are the primary purposes behind generating these detailed reports? Why are they considered so important?
They fulfill several absolutely critical functions. First, they provide a regular, consistent snapshot of the project's status, communicating key observations about ongoing work to all stakeholders, client, authorities, consultants, contractor.
Okay, communication.
Second, they're the main way to formally identify any observed nonconformances with the contract documents or, deficiencies in workmanship that need the contractor's attention.
Pointing out problems.
Right. They also track the progress and resolution of previously identified issues, help manage other important project info arising on site, provide essential support for reviewing the contractor's payment applications.
For payment cert.
Yeah, and subsequently preparing those certificates for payment. And finally, they build a crucial historical record of the whole construction process. That can be absolutely invaluable if any disputes or claims pop up later.
That sounds like a lot of ground for one report to cover.
Yeah.
What specific information needs to be diligently recorded in a thorough field review report?
The guide provides a really comprehensive breakdown. Starts with the basics: full project name, unique project number, site location. Then each report needs its own unique ID, usually a sequential number,
Okay.
along with the exact date of the site visit and the date the report was actually prepared, if they're different. Clearly state the general contractor's name, maybe even note the weather conditions that can impact work, right? Then the core. General observations on the stage of construction reached. A detailed description of the specific work observed in progress. Any actions needed due to observations, especially nonconformances, must be clearly documented.
Clear actions.
Yeah, plus the name and title of the reviewer, a full list of who gets the report. Note any attachments like photos. Crucially, include a section commenting on the status of outstanding actions from previous reports. Keeps things moving.
Follow-up is key.
Absolutely. And specify how the current report is being transmitted.
That level of detail really underscores its importance as a formal record. Okay, let's briefly touch on some of the other forms for project management that the guide highlights.
Right. These are the forms that help manage specific aspects falling outside those main categories we discussed. One particularly important example is the Index of Supplemental Instructions, or S.
Supplemental instructions. Okay.
As the guide notes, on many projects, numerous SIs are issued during construction for clarifications, interpretations, minor mods to the contract docs. To effectively manage and track all of these, you really need a comprehensive index.
Just to keep track of them all.
Exactly. Whether it's a separate list or generated from project management software, it serves as a central reference point for everyone.
What kind of key information does this index need to contain to be effective?
Okay, always the project name and number. The unique sequential number for each SI, usually chronological, sometimes another system. For each SI, a concise descriptive title indicating the subject matter.
Got it.
Details of the instruction itself, like the specific location it applies to, and the actual instruction stated clearly, usually with an active verb. Helpful to note who initiated the need for the instruction.
Ah, the source.
Yeah, even if it came from a consultant, the architect usually issues the formal SI for coordination. The index should also briefly state the reason for the instruction, provide context,
Okay.
the date it was officially issued, and, importantly, a clear indication if a formal change order was required as a result, with a cross-reference to the change order number if applicable, tracks cost or schedule implications.
Yeah, that traceability is vital.
Mm.
Okay, the guide also briefly mentions drawing notations. What are those about?
Yeah, these are just those standard stamps or notations applied to drawings to clearly indicate their current stage, like preliminary, for construction, record drawing.
Right, seen those.
They often include restrictions or clarifications on the document's use or distribution, can be applied electronically or with physical stamps. Many review apps have built-in stamping features now, which streamlines it.
Makes sense. And then there are the crucial shop drawing and submittals review letters and stamps. This sounds like an area where careful documentation is absolutely paramount due to liability.
Absolutely critical. The guide really emphasizes using the appropriate cover letter templates and applying the correct standardized notations or stamps to shop drawings and other submittals precisely because of the professional liability and legal responsibilities involved.
High stakes.
Definitely. The guide even provides suggested specific wording for a standard shop drawing review stamp. It outlines different recommended cover letter options depending on the situation, like for submittals not actually required or those with only engineering content the architect hasn't reviewed,
Okay.
or submittals needing review by the architect alone or by both architect and engineers if they have integrated elements. It even refers to a specific sample cover letter form for clarity.
It certainly sounds like meticulous documentation here is non-negotiable.
Finally, the guide discusses the vital log of shop drawings and sample submittals.
Yes, this comprehensive log is absolutely crucial for ensuring timely and efficient review and tracking of all shop drawings, material samples, other required submittals from the contractor during construction.
Keeping everything moving. Exactly. This tracking needs to happen both within the architect's office and by all relevant consulting engineers. A well-maintained log is essential for managing the information flow, ensuring reviews happen promptly, and approved submittals get distributed properly.
Could it be just a spreadsheet? or software?
Could be a standalone document, or increasingly it's a dynamic report generated from specialized submittal management software or broader project management databases.
Right.
The guide also recommends using the master format system for listing and filing these. That's the standard system for organizing construction specs and technical info. And as a key best practice, a final complete copy of this log should always be filed with the project's record drawings and closeout docs at the very end.
Good final step.
Yeah.
So what specific types of information does this comprehensive submittal log typically need to capture?
It can include a wide range of essential details. Starts with identifying the type of submittal: shop drawing, sample, product literature, warranty, etc. A descriptive title, the drawing number if applicable, date prepared by contractor, corresponding master format, a spec, section number it relates to, and full contact info for the company or trade responsible for submitting it. Then the log meticulously tracks the whole review workflow, date received by architect.
The timeline.
Exactly. Which consultant it was referred to, if any, and when, date returned by consultant, date forward back to the contractor. And finally, its official review status: review approved, reviewed as noted, resubmit required.
Tracks the whole life cycle.
Precisely. This level of granular detail ensures nothing gets lost or overlooked in that often complex submittal process and helps keep the overall project schedule on track.
Okay. So taking a step back now, what's the overarching message here? If we connect all these individual forms, what's the real strategic value they bring?
Well, when you look at them all together, it becomes really clear, doesn't it? These seemingly simple forms aren't just about generating paperwork.
No, they're more than that.
They're the fundamental building blocks of effective project management. They foster significantly improved communication using structured, standardized templates for conveying critical info clearly, concisely.
Better communication. Check.
They establish much clearer expectations among everyone involved by explicitly outlining what needs documenting, when, and who's responsible.
Clear expectations. Check.
Leads directly to far better record keeping, creating a comprehensive, accessible history of the whole project lifecycle.
Better records. Check.
And ultimately, all these benefits contribute to demonstrably smoother workflows, a significant reduction in misunderstandings and costly errors, and hopefully much more successful project outcomes overall.
So they're foundational tools, really.
Exactly, not just bureaucratic hurdles. They're foundational tools for any well-managed, successful project.
This raises a really important question for you, our listener. As you consider this range of forms we've discussed, from internal memos to field reports, bidding docs, which of these tools do you immediately see having the biggest positive impact on your current projects?
Or maybe helping you anticipate challenges in future ones.
Yeah. And it's worth really thinking about the potential hidden costs, not just money, but wasted time, stress, potential disputes of not having clear, standardized documentation and well-defined processes in place. Something to mull over.
Definitely food for thought.
We hope this deep dive has shed some light on the, well, surprisingly impactful world of project management forms. If you're keen to explore more practical knowledge like this and gain valuable insights that can directly improve your professional life, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into another fascinating and relevant topic.